Feeling stuck, lost, like you're not living up to your full potential? The Life Coach is your guide to unlocking your true self. Join us each week as we explore topics like overcoming self-doubt, building healthy habits, finding your passion, developing meaningful relationships, achieving your goals. The Life Coach features insightful teachings with Segun Olugbemi, practical tips, and inspiring stories to help you live a more fulfilling life. Tune in every Friday at 8 p.m. on all our social platforms to discover your inner strength and create the life you truly desire. The Life Coach, your journey to a better you starts now.
Hello there. Thank you for joining us on the Life Coach, TLC. We'll be on, certain topics for some time. We spoke about the burnout and a couple of other helpful topics. Today I want to talk to you on maximum productivity through silence. That title alone sounds like oxymoron. How can you be silent at the same time be maximally productive? But that's true. Every time you have an opportunity to be in a group of people, a society of people, in a company, in a family, you always need to learn the rule of silence. And you can be productive by being silent. In other words, you need to harness the power of silence. There are things that silence will produce that talking will not produce. But by being silent, you can produce these results and you grow within the context of your silence. So I'm going to be sharing that with you. Because very often, we think that by speaking out, I can't keep quiet. I have to speak my mind. And everybody has to know where it's at. So you talk too much. And because you talk too much, you give out too much information. You volunteer more information than necessary. Sometimes you just go off point simply because you are unable to process what a person is saying. So I want to show you how you can make the most of your silence. Maybe that's the other way to subtitle it. How do you make the most of silence? Number one, whenever you are in a conversation, you are in a meeting, in training, or whatever it is, and someone is speaking, your subordinate, your superior, your children, your spouse, number one, listen attentively to what is being said. What is said is best understood by the way it was said. You cannot afford to be distracted by nuances to the detriment of the text, context, and the message's intent. Let me give you an illustration. Someone did something today, and I said, please, next time, don't let something like this happen. And she went off what I said to begin to explain why she did what she did. And he said, oh, it is so and so that needed this, and I did this, and I did. And I said, stop. Since you find it so important that you needed to defend yourself, you needed to speak, you needed to just say something without processing it. Now, read my lips and listen very carefully. Next time, do not do this. I said, what does that mean? He said, what happened before is no longer important. What is important is what I do from now on. Why didn't you listen before? Just listen attentively. You understand what I'm saying. An average person doesn't listen to what is being said or the way it's being said. There's a very popular passage that I love it. It's one of my favorite places to explain nuances. God said, let the waters be gathered together in one place. The gathering of the waters he called the seas. And then he said, let dry land appear. And the dry land he calls the earth. Then he went further to say, and let the earth bring forth trees, herbs, vegetation, and cash crops that will be good for the use of man, whose seed is in itself, bearing fruit after its kind. So you can see that a lot of things are contained in that word alone. But if you ever come away with anything, you will then understand that when God said, let the earth bring forth, it means that technically, God didn't create trees. He ceded his creative ability to the earth, asking the earth to take that responsibility. And that's the reason wherever you scoop a bucket of sand, a pot of sand or whatever, keep it in 10-story building, access to water, sun and air, and it will start producing. Some things will grow out of it, some vegetation will grow out of it. Because God said, let the earth. So you cannot understand the process of growing trees and vegetation on earth without understand that if God has said, let there be trees, then there will be trees, but as soon as they grow old and they die, God will have to create new trees. But he seeded that creative force to the earth and said, let the earth bring forth. So you see how he said it, the way he said it, tells us the complete picture as to why the earth is responsible for growing trees and cash crops and food for us. Do you understand? So you need to listen attentively to what is being said. You can't afford to be distracted. Number 2, when in doubt, ask those involved in the problem or the solution. In other words, you have to ask questions. Always ask questions. Introducing your interpretation to it might mean rebellion, might mean disobedience. So whenever a person says something, they're reporting something to you, you are going to, take instruction from a boss or from your subordinate, from your leader or from whoever. Whatever it is they're saying to you, just divorce yourself completely from what you're thinking or whatever, and listen to them, and then generate your question where you think you have doubt. And if a person comes to give you any information, when you're in doubt, ask questions. But if you're going to ask questions, make sure you ask from those who are either part of the problem or part of the solution. Because if you start to put yourself in this other direction, then you are going to find out that at the end of the day, you have missed it or messed it up. All right? Number 3, increase your creativity by following the 3-to-1 rule. This means you must attempt to solve every problem from 3 different angles before asking for help. In other words, if a person were to be speaking to you, is giving you an instruction, is telling you something, or is giving you an assignment, the natural thing people do is that, I don't understand what you're saying. I don't know what to do. You have not listened properly to what he's saying, probably. And if you don't listen, then the next thing is, what do I do from here going forward? You have to then go on to say, this assignment given to me, how many ways can I do it? I need to look at A, I need to look at B, I need to look at C. So if I ask you to say, I need you to clear this place, I need to move this and to that, look for 3 different ways of doing it. If you don't understand, I think we taught this already in some previous PSC. If you don't understand, then ask questions. This will increase your creativity. It will limit how much you talk, and it will help you to be intuitively creative. You become very innovative thinking about what is being said. Number 4, obey the rule of silence. Where there is no specific laws and instructions, proceed cautiously as you learn in that process. Just proceed cautiously. Avoid wrong interpretation by adding to or subtracting from instruction. Silence is gold indeed. So being silent on purpose requires a deliberate effort. Silence is an art that must be learned and studied like communication. And one of my favorite saying is from the Holy Writ, the Bible. On this subject, it says, study to be quiet and to do your own business and work with your own hands as we've commanded you. Do you understand what I'm saying? In other words, proceed cautiously. If what they're saying is not clear, don't misinterpret or give wrong interpretation. Adding to, if you add to instruction or take from instruction, that becomes disobedience. All right? So proceed cautiously. Study to be silent. Study it. Ask questions where you need, and just continue gradually, then asking questions along the way. Over the years, I've discovered that while people talk to us, we're probably, one, thinking of what to say in reply or self-defense. I have never in my, 60 plus whatever on earth seen a generation or a season in people's life where people are so involved with self-defense. Everybody wants to defend themselves. Everybody wants to explain. Everybody wants to go on the internet. Wants to go on internet and say, well, this is what they say about me. Oh, this is. Why do I always ask the question? Why do you find it so important? Why do you find self so important as to defend it? And so when people are talking to you, why did you do that? It's because also, like I said, when I was mentioning the earlier point, next time be sure this doesn't happen. Oh, I did that because so and so, and this one said, I didn't ask you why did you do that. I didn't ask you who made you do it. I didn't ask you who did you give it to. I just said, next time, don't do this. I think if you had followed my instruction, if you just listen to what I was saying, I'm not killing you or cutting off your head from what you did in the past. I just said, going forward, let's do this differently. Does it require self-defense? And there's a generation that thinks that all they have to do is to clear their names. You see, who you are before men is your reputation. Who you are when no one is there is your character. And your job is to make sure you develop strength of character so that reputation will take care of itself. Your reputation will take care of itself. Because people will say, if it is that man, whether you are there or not, he will do it. Many years ago, I was somewhere and some traffic guys stopped and they said, hey, they said you broke the rule. And my wife was beside herself. And she came and was ready. She queried them. She fought. She defended me. She said, and they said, madam, why are you so angry? The man we're talking to is quiet. And he said, I am defending him like this because this man, everybody will pass by. They will insult him. They will be hurling insult at him. He will stay right at the traffic light until he gives him green light. Whether police is there or not. He said even in the midnight, I've seen him stopping when nobody is there and some police will say, okay, go now. He said, the light is red. He said, that's the kind of man I've lived with all these years. And you come to accuse him of other things, not breaking traffic rules. Let your character, let your reputation take care of itself. Just develop character, okay? Think, then when we're talking to people, first they're thinking of what to say in self-defense. Sometimes they're thinking of what new information to give in furtherance of the conversation. I'm the one that started the conversation. Why do you have to add something to it? Why do you have to add something to it? Just be quiet already. No, they want to say actually, and they say, hey, sorry, I'm not breaking into a conversation. Please don't forget what you're going to say. Just hold that thought. Let me quickly say this. Seriously, you just cut me off now. I don't mean to cut you off. In fact, if you are from the western part of southwest of Nigeria, they say, please, I'm not enough to block your mouth with 50,000. I say, I'm blocking you from speaking. I block you with some money just to, let me quickly say this. But the other person is the one talking. Hold your thought. Write it down if you need to. Do you understand? Don't cut people in. That's rude. That's no mature conversation. It doesn't allow conversation to mature. If you deal with people like me, I just decide to keep quiet or I forget what I want to say. Every time you're in a conversation, you are the master of that thing, of what you know before. What you don't know is what I have to say. Will you therefore do yourself a favor by keeping quiet? Then sometimes we're reading meanings into what we think they say, or what they omitted, what we think they said, or what they should have said. So you are completing that statement, and the person is saying, actually, as we were going, I found out myself say, missing my way. He said, that's not the word I'm looking for. Trying to locate, he said no. And then you keep suggesting words to them. You're not allowing his thought process to be completed. Will you be humble enough to keep quiet and learn in silence? Or sometimes we are recalling what we wanted to say to them, but we lacked the opportunity or couldn't remember before they called in. And now we put our mouth and start juggling, start rambling and saying things when we should be quiet. When you should be quiet and listen to what the other man has to say and learn from what they have to say. Invariably, we are often too busy to listen attentively and understand what others are saying. But as the Holy Book admonishes, make it your ambition to live quietly and peaceably. There are many reasons to learn the art of silence. And I will mention a few of them to you now. Number one, learning happens when we're silent. Like I always say, you cannot talk and learn simultaneously. If you must be a master of what you know, then don't try to master what I'm trying to tell you because you don't know. You may be the master of the information you possess, but not the one I carry. Therefore, be wise enough to add to what you have by listening to what others have to say. Just be wise, just keep quiet. And can I tell you something? Listening is an art we need to learn. You need to be quiet. You need to just learn it. Sometimes you have to bite your tongue, hold it there, and you say, I have something to say. And then you literally, I've seen people that I'm talking with, and I'm sharing, and I'm not done with what, and they raise their hands as if they're in a classroom. And they just could not hold themselves, they just can't control, and then they just cut it. And then I keep quiet and let them, and then they take over the conversation. And after a while, they say, okay, sorry, sir, you can continue now. So I can't remember what I was saying. They say, oh, you started. I say, I think events have overtaken that. Oh, I'm sorry. The conversation is no longer interesting. You didn't let the person finish what he had to say. Have I perfected this? No. But I'm learning. All right? I'm better at it now than I used to be. Number two, the best way to hide your ignorance is silence. Even a fool, Proverbs says, is counted wise when he holds his peace. When he shuts his lips, he is considered perceptive. A wise king once said this, which is Solomon. Knowing when to stop, knowing when to be quiet, when to be silent can help you hide your folly. You deliberately hide your folly by not promoting ignorance. Learn in silence. It holds the key. Sometimes just being quiet tells you how things are done. Before you ask, I don't know, how do they do this? Well, do I have to put this? Do I have to do that? Just shh. Just be silent. Just listen. Watch that. You may find out that the answer is already in the question you are asking. Just learn to be silent. You need to practice it. This is the problem between many spouses, many families. Several families, you'll find they're quarreling, they're talking. The man is saying one, the woman is saying 10. It's not often what people say about you that makes you what they say. It's what you think about them. For instance, if you was to say to me, you are a crazy man, you are mad, you should be in psychiatric hospital. And I'm just quiet watching you. And then you kept insulting me and you keep saying all that you are saying and I'm just quiet. It won't be long before people will come around and say, excuse me, madam, or Mr. Man, who are you talking to? Say, this man, and is this quiet? I think you need to check yourself into a psychiatric hospital. You need attention. But look at it this way. If you're talking, you're crazy, I know you're a madman. I know you're crazy and you keep saying that. And I say, I'm a madman? You mean I'm crazy? I'm going to show you exactly what crazy means. And I go for a cutlass. And I begin to run after you. He said, didn't I tell you he's a madman? You see, just being silent, you could have defeated this guy. You could even get people to grab him, send him to a psychiatric hospital by silence. As a matter of fact, in the Soviet Union, when the Soviet Union was together, they literally had this issue of punishing people with silence. They indoctrinated people through silence. Or they turned some of them crazy and they changed their minds. When they wanted to put Marxism into that, they discover you are rebellious, you are difficult. They lock you up in a silent place, in a prison, with a dingy prison with very low light. And they put you in there and they don't let you hear any sound. Nobody will talk to you for the whole day, for a week, for 2 weeks, for a month. Now at this point, you are like running crazy. Your brain is spinning because you needed to talk to somebody. And often you have to talk to yourself to survive. Keep talking to yourself. And then if you learn that over a period of time, when you get out of that prison, you just learn to talk to yourself. You soliloquize a lot. So when they've done that for some weeks, they will introduce martial music, military music, they introduce their music, the communist music, to begin to get into your psychic, to reprogram your mind so you can become something. So silence is a tool that you can defeat even enemies with. By just being silent, you don't know. You could hide your strength. Just being silent, you're just quiet. And people will say all sorts of things and you're just silent. Do you understand what I'm saying? So learning in silence holds the key. Refuse to promote ignorance. by learning to deliberately hide your folly. Even if a fool keeps silent, is counted as wise. Number 3, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat of its fruit. Research has shown that the words we speak affect our lives drastically. Once your ears hear what comes from your mouth, your brain admits it as your true state and then conditions your entire faculty to function as proclaimed. So you can save your life a great deal by learning to shut up. Do you understand what I mean? You can save your life. He that keeps his mouth keeps his life. You need to learn to keep quiet. I know what's kill. You don't know death and life are in the power of the tongue. I've seen experiments performed on animals where they come in and they bless them, they encourage them, they speak to them, you are fruitful, you are great, they speak positive words, and they get musicians to play for them. And cows were producing more gallons, at least 4 times than they were producing before. But I've also seen experiments where they turn to plants, flower, beautiful flower that were doing well, and someone started cursing them. And they employed this one to curse them every morning. They water and put manure, did everything. They said, but you never do well. It's so discouraging to water you every day. You guys will never do well. We're tired of you. We're waiting for you to die, then we'll replace you with something. And they spoke like that, and in less than a week or 2, the flowers started withering. Do you know that an experiment was carried out some years ago? A medical experiment, some people volunteered. They were healthy, they were fit as fiddles. And these people went into a hospital. And then there were people that were terminally ill of cancer and all that. They put them elsewhere. So they kept speaking to these people, the doctor. They wanted to experiment the power of words. And then they would come to these people and they said, we thought you guys were healthy when you came in, but we discovered that you guys are really, really sick. The way we're seeing it now, you may not last very long. And they kept telling them every day. And this one, they say, the samples we took shows that you are recovering. In another month, all of you will be out of medication. You just bounce back. And then they discovered in less than a week, these people were almost dying, becoming terminally sick. And those who were terminally sick were ready to leave the hospital. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. People commit suicide because of what they heard. Recently, a young girl of 12 was committed suicide in the US because the schoolmates were taunting her and they said, you're going to be deported. You're going to lose your education. You're going to go back to Mexico. You're going to do... And because they were taunting this girl, she just committed suicide. You know how many people have died because of the words they've spoken to them? You know how many people have died because of their words? Just keep saying the wrong thing to anyone, and they will soon die. Most marriages will have been healed if there were better spouse to speak good words, speak healing words, speak encouraging words, speak supporting words, speak loving words, speak forgiving words. Do you understand what I'm saying? Number 4, you enjoy the benefit of staying out of trouble. The wise philosopher King Solomon admonishes, whoever guards his mouth and tongue keeps his soul from trouble. Just in case you don't know the benefit of silence, try confessing to a crime and see how the law enforcement handles you thereafter. When you practice the rule of silence, you save yourself from volunteering more information than required. The rule of silence is acceptable as a principle of hermeneutics, and it says you must remain silent where the text is silent, especially if it's the Bible. You're not permitted to formulate any doctrine on a subject of the Bible on which the Bible has nothing to say. It is hard to add to your silence, but you cannot subtract, and you can always subtract, please, and add, even divide and multiply your words. So you need to learn to talk less, talk slowly, and edit as well as audit your words. Your silence can be misconstrued. When you talk to him, when you spoke to him, what did he say? He was silent. People cannot multiply that words. They cannot add to it. If you don't say A, nobody will accuse you of saying B. All right? Don't volunteer more information than necessary. Somebody said, what's your name? He said, my name is so and so. And then the next thing say, actually, this will have. Just keep quiet. Don't volunteer more information than necessary. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're going to put yourself in trouble. Don't volunteer more than necessary, because you might take your interviewer to extremes that he doesn't want to go, and then you will be accountable for those words. Growth takes, number 5, growth takes place in silence. While we sleep, the trees grow. Babies grow. The universe runs its courses, and the entire forces of nature gently exude life, beauty, and fragrance to to keep us alive and healthy. So still waters are deep waters. So stay calm, stay cool, stay collected. God does more with our silence than our lousy nature. Silence provides opportunity, for God to present us with the best surprises of life. It was while Adam was asleep that God brought Eve to him. Learn to be silent. Don't talk too much. Don't volunteer more than necessary. Don't say what you are not asked. And part of the reason we say out things we are not asked, we volunteer more information is because you didn't listen to the question to begin with. What's going to be your program tomorrow? What are your programs so I know how to work with you? As a matter of fact, I want to go to the bank. Somebody sent me $500. I want to go and claim that. Then I want to go change some of the dollars. Then there's one of my friends that was saying something, this guy has been married for 30 years and he told me that the wife is having issues. And come on now. What are your programs? I will be going to the bank, then I move to a friend's place, and I'll go to this place. Enough is enough. Stop volunteering more information than necessary. You talk too much. Just learn to zip up. We are all learning. We are work in progress. Until I come your way next time, please share this with others. Share it to other platforms. Share it to other pages. Join us and save this either on YouTube or your Facebook. Save it so you can come back again. And please support us in any way you can. I'm your coach, Segun Olugbemi. Till next week.
Remember, your journey of self-discovery is a continuous one. Embrace the challenges, celebrate your successes, and never stop believing in your ability to grow. Thank you for listening to The Life Coach. Until next week, Friday, by 8 p.m., live a life filled with purpose and joy.